Yeah. All right.
See, that's my fault. Look, I've been rapping for a whole hour.
No, what's so remarkable is that you're literally answering all of our questions. It's like, and it's going literally in the order. Like, because my next question was gonna ask like, what inspires you and what your artists want to get from, what you want, like people to get from your art. But you just killing it right now. I feel like honestly, all of this must have been like picked up. Like you had to get like almost it's a release. It's a release.
Yeah, I mean, it got to be something like that. But I'm long-winded though too. That's another reason I'm like. Sometimes I pick and choose when I talk because I feel like they probably like he's rapping.
Thank God. I mean, and I of course this is exceeded like my expectations. Like I miss you. I really do. I'm like, I miss you too, man. Yes, it feels so good. I don't even. You weren't at the reunion last time, was you? Or I was just running around. Yeah, I think I was just running around.
In the journey 2014, the 10-year reunion?
Yeah.
That was it?
Yeah.
I was late. And by the time I got there, everybody was drunk. But
right. Oh my God.
Something like that.
Dang, man, you old.
Yeah, we up there, man. Look. I tell you with grace though, my kids don't know how old I am. And so like literally, like when I'm teaching and they ask me how old I am, and I'm like, well, I'm 35, and they're like, you're older than my dad, and it's like
what?
But it's the thing about they don't believe me because literally, I mean, look, but I feel like age is also an energy, it's like it's not about how old you are, it's about what you back, and how old you back is going to say, and what you put into your body and what you put out into the world is what preserves you. Yeah. So it's just like I think that's because I teach, I'm so connected to the youth that it's just like I gotta know all the new songs and I gotta know new all the slang because I gotta find out what's inappropriate being said in my classroom.
Right.
So it's like,
what I want to know too, though, like off record, like not related, but can you change the curriculum or like can you have some input into like the art class or art history or whatever? Because you're saying they don't.
I have no curriculum.
Oh, okay.
They asked me if I wanted one. I said nah. I said
really?
Nah. I told them I don't need it. Like I'm needed. I was like, I'm not teaching math or reading, but it's like some guidelines. I know what they need to learn. And essentially, it's like the elements of art, principles of design, and then giving them examples and projects that reinforce those things, whatever. So I have free reign to do whatever I want in my classroom.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice.
It was another reason why I agreed to come back because it's like, look, and I wanted that is because if you don't have a curriculum to reference, you can't micromanage me and tell me I'm doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and also for the fact is like I know this like a science, so I don't need that. It's like I know what they need to learn, and it's just like I have my objective for what I want for them at the end of the year. End of the year, they put together a portfolio. They're doing a gallery show in December, and they're gonna do another one at the end of the school year. But it's just like, and we're gonna work towards things. They're gonna explore mediums. They're gonna learn that. They're gonna learn everything about fine art, but they're gonna do it in a way that connects with them. Because that was the thing about me. I guess they might be breaking off another question that like I felt like I was robbed of. None of my art teachers connected with me or tried to. And so a lot of that I feel like I'm not even as good as I could have been because I was never pushed. And another reason why I decided to become a teacher and become an art teacher is to be the art teacher I wish I had. And I never got those teachers.
I know. I'm like, oh my God,
never got those
a lot of jewels.
Like the teachers ever like, Josh, you draw beautifully, but this is lazy. This is this. Like they would critique my work and coach me to be better. But I didn't get that until I was grown. I was like 18, 19 getting that in college. I didn't get that in high school. And and it also there was an arrogance there because I was a hot-headed kid, especially when it came to that. It was just like, if I draw and I'm not that far from you when you teach. So it's like, like you got to show me. And for me, it's like, you got to show me something, you got like, I have to see your work. You have to completely blow me out of the water for me to listen to you. And I think that there was just a disconnect. I think mainly also too, whatever is like, because like in high school, I never had what was his name? Mr. Holder. I never had him. I had everybody else. Yeah. I had all the other, so I never had an art teacher that looked like me. I never had anybody that could relate to me. And I felt like, back then they were pushing like fine art so heavy. Like when I was in AP art, they never like, I was getting I passed the classes and got my college credits for them, but it was like, I was getting like low scores, on my first portfolio that was just self-portraits. I got a high score on that. But then that was junior year. Senior year, my concentration was graffiti and hip hop. And, and it was all black and white pictures. And then the graffiti just got bigger and brighter and bolder. So to show growth, by the last piece, the entire piece was in color. You're showing that like there's art in that. Just because you can't read it don't mean it's not art. And I was told whatever that I was been told by multiple teachers that like there's no place for it. Like there's no future for hip hop and art. And I was discouraged to stop incorporating it. And now you see that one of the world's largest exports is hip hop. And you literally have people,
What year was that?
I mean, look, I heard that beginning of college. I heard that in high school. I heard that.
Wow.
I heard that, like I've heard like when I was critiquing, like because I got a C on it, and I was trying to figure out why. Why did I get a C on my portfolio?
Right.
They were like they didn't understand it. And there was no place for it. There was no future for that there, whatever. And now come to find out, you can literally be my polar opposite. You can be a small young lady, not of our persuasion. And you can pick the same exact thing and you can be world famous, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, whatever, but for me, like if I do it, like sometimes they look at you as one dimensional. But for the fact is like I didn't stay true to myself. And I almost let that and our school brainwash me because they were making it seem like, they're like, you draw very well, but the thing that you draw is just like we don't know how you're going to make a living doing that. Everybody was so fine arts. And I'm like, I'm the polar opposite. I appreciate the fine arts for the fundamentals of it, but it's like, right. I'm not drawing still lifes and flowers my entire in landscapes. I'm not doing that. I don't like, I'll do it for the grade, but none of that speaks to me. None of that speaks to me. Like, what speaks to me is like my culture. That's what I care about. And which is hilarious now because you got people who like are not from my culture that can exploit it visually and monetize off of that. That's a whole nother conversation.
Sorry, but I feel like there should be a film about you.
Yeah.
This sounds like a really like epic movie right now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And look, we ain't even old yet, whatever. So it's like, look, they had a part 2 that thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like I ain't even got started yet.
Wow.
I feel like everything in my life is preparing me for what I'm about to do next.
Josh, like that's what I'm saying. This is exceeding. Like this is deep.
You see where my vision. You see where my vision goes, Danny.
Yes.
You see where my vision goes. That's. It's just.
I apologize to the viewers, and I wasn't trying to get heavy on y'all, but it's like, look, it came to me, Josh, like I was just like, you know what, Danny, we don't have no artists. And the first person I'm like,
Josh.
Come on, Josh.
Yeah.
Who else would be the person
right.
for Josh? So I'm like,
Dang.
Yeah, man, bro. We here. Like I said, I just never got caught up in why. Like we here. Like and I think about it like I ain't shy. And that's a lot. Somebody did reach out to me to do an interview, but I haven't done it or haven't finished it because it wasn't real. It was like it was like a magazine, and they reached out to me, and I was like, sure, but I thought they was gonna sit down and talk, and they emailed me like questions, and like and the little thing, and I'm like, son, these are the jokes everybody's like posting online, talking about check out my interview. I'm like, it's not an interview. You answer. This is a survey that they put online, or whatever. They ask you questions, and all they did was like spell check your shit, then repost it. Like this is not like I'm like I told. Could you imagine me typing all this shit out? Like I'm not.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Like look, at that point you might as well buy the book. I'm not typing all this shit. Like look, and just to piss me off, when you chop all this shit and paraphrase it and leave out the important shit, whatever. So it's like, you gotta sit down and talk to me. I'm not right. I'm not
about to type this and then you're gonna take out what I wrote.
So this is my first official interview, but the other joint, I was like, I'm not. They want to sit down with a camera or like talk to me with a recorder and type everything I'm saying. That's one thing. When I'm like, I'm too long-winded. I can't answer nothing in a sentence. I can't answer nothing in a sentence. I ain't built like that. I got too much to say.
Well, you're on the right show. This is again, it just confirms like whenever, and we be having our moments where it's just like, oh, we gotta get back on. But it just really confirms like why we do this. Like we like this. I'm like, I need your story to be heard.
Yeah,
I need.
That's what's up. Yeah. I'm excited for like to hear what people have to say because they may learn something.
Yeah,
like, look, they're gonna learn a lot. You dropped a lot of news.
But we ain't never heard him. He don't talk that much, so it's like now y'all know why I'm talking. I mean, I'm inspired. By like people was a problem by everything though, man. Like I just inspiration comes in like different places, and for me, like a lot of my inspiration comes from like my love for like music, especially like hip hop music, even if it's not like a hip hop centered piece. Is like, but music is what like, I listen to music so much, not even because I don't record anymore, but it's like, I've always loved music because it's essential to me. Like it's part of my creative process. So a lot of times or whatever, I may hear something and it spawns from that. Like my commutes to and from work, I'm always listening to music, and it's not necessarily hip hop. I listen to things that I listen to the things that the thing about inspiration is I'm a history buff, so I always care about what things come from, and then the things I love, where do those things come from? Like I remember, like I would be younger and listen to like rap music, and then my parents would be like, "Oh, this ain't even the original version," and that would blow my mind. Like, you mean something? They made something from this, and then I go back, and my dad like, wow, clink on the eyes, these whatever, and then like, oh.
Yeah,
like sampling. So my thing is I've always been concerned like that. When I hear something that sounds well, I want to know what inspired that. Something I like. The thing about greatness, I want to know what inspires it. Not to say so I can find my own, but how I can help identify it within myself. So I listen. So not only do I listen to hip hop music, but I listen to like the music that hip hop was sampled from. So I listen to like a lot of jazz. I listen to a lot of the music from the 80s, 70s, 50s, and 60s.
That's my time.
Because it's like, and then I hear like, that was a dope thing. I'm not the plug there, but it's like, certain streaming platforms, whatever, like depending on the music you listen to, like they create playlists for you based on the music you listen to, and it be all the music that's sampled from the music you listen to.
Right.
And so like I literally just put on like playlists, and then I just rock out. And then like sometimes my jaw drop, like I never knew even still like where that came from. But music is probably the biggest thing that inspires me because it clears my mind. And so it's like, I become like unconsciously competent. Like like when you drive, you don't think about driving, you just drive. You think about driving when you're trying to pass that test. We all struggled on that parallel park when we first started.
Now I killed mine in 5 seconds.
Don't get me started on that. I got in there right when the man pushed the button, and I was like, okay, I'm in here. Thank you.
And so you cared about it then, but now when you get in the car to go to the store, you don't think twice about it. You just it's just what you do.
Right.
Yeah. So when I listen to music, my mind is clear. So it allows my mind to think about things that I'm not normally thinking about, and before my mind, and how my mind works, especially if I'm drawing something. Sometimes if I even do like mashup pieces of digital illustrations, I'd be like, I've never seen that before. And then once I got the idea, I just want to make sure out of respect for everybody that's creative, because sometimes, great minds do think alike. And a lot of times we are, because if we love the same things, the same things can inspire us in the same way. So I always do my research to make sure I'm not inviting nobody, because I don't want, I would hate for that to happen to me. So I do my research for like a week or so to make sure that I'm not like, in the same realm as somebody, or I'm respecting somebody else's creativity and not just copying them. Some people don't care about that, but that's important to me. Integrity is important. I'm never gonna bite nobody else's style. And to the point now where there's still ideas that I have that I'm about to start cooking up soon. They're like for paintings I've started, and I'm like, this is crazy. It's gonna be dope when it's done, because nobody thought about it, and I still ain't seen them yet. And it's been 4 or 5 years later. And so,
wow.
Because I think I would take two things that don't make sense or wouldn't match, and then put them together and make them make sense. Whatever. But a lot of that clarity comes from music, and I start thinking about things. I'm like, this would be cool, this would be funny, or this would be dope, or this is I ain't never seen this before. And then from there, and then it's like you put it down. And then like I sit there and think about it for like sometimes if it's hard, like it may hit me in like 30 minutes, like I gotta go home and start doing this now. But sometimes like I sit about think about it for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, and then it's like, all right, I see it. Time back in vision. Like I know what this is gonna look like now. And then like you spend more time thinking about how it's going to look than you actually been the actual conception of it. And then, but that's how the inspiration works with me. A lot of it stems from music because music clears my mind and allows me to not think about anything but what's like. And then while I'm not thinking about anything, and half the time really when like I be freestyling and like in the car and like I just be rapping in the car and I'm like, oh damn. And sometimes it may be the line or what I may create may come from the line I randomly made up in my head just for the sake of the freestyle, and it'd be like, damn, that is hard. All right. I need to write that down, whatever. Like, not even for the sake of a rap, but it's like I tried to make those two things just rhyme. They don't necessarily relate. How can I visually put that together? If I just made it up off the top of my head, I know it don't exist. Yeah. And so that's where a lot of the things I come from. Like come from is because it's like I've literally made it up in my head, and I do a little bit of research to make sure that I did make it up, and not that I saw it somewhere, forgot about it, and then it's back on my mind.
Yeah,
right.
This is something we didn't even think to like really go to, but can we like rewind like back? Like when did this really start for you? Yeah, like
when did art start for me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, I think I've been drawing since I was about 3 or 4. Been drawing about since I was 3 or 4 because when I was younger, like my parents said I used to scare them because I was like in kindergarten talking about like I'm gonna be an artist when I get older, and they was like nobody just says those types of things at that age, but I wanted to be like at first when I was young I wanted to work for Disney. I could like I wanted to be a comic book art. I love comics. And honestly, comics are what taught me how to read because it was like, from just sitting underneath my grandfather on Sundays reading the funny papers that he would take. He would look at me, he would just throw them just like bones. I'd be like that. And I would just read them, but I would be inspired. I'm like, I want to draw and I would just draw the comics. Like I know like and then one of the first comics that like, and all the other ones was cool, but then it was like, we were like young. And when it really like changed me, I think it's when Magruder dropped Boondocks. And it was a comic first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, there were no black comic book characters.
Nope.
Like, it was like 1 or 2 more that I could think about, but it wasn't that many. And I was like, it's us, it's our culture. They're speaking on things that relate to us. No disrespect to like Charlie Brown or Calvin or Hobbes and all that, whatever, but it's like, you got an ignorant little black boy and a very militant, like, in tune black boy who are brothers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, in the things they talk about or whatever, it's almost like tasteful conflict, but to spark the mind to have a conversation. And it's like, but it's masked in a funny paper. And I was just like, damn, like, I'm trying to like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like even then still, when I graduated, I was like, man, he from Maryland too, whatever. I got fine. I'm trying to work for him when I get out of school, whatever. I need to help do the show, but then they stopped doing the show when I graduated. But it was like it started from there. And then it's just like my love for cartoons, it like landed in me becoming an animation major because I wanted to learn how to make them. And then from there, it was just like, that's why I incorporate that type of stuff into my lessons to hook my kids in. But yeah, it started at an early age. I don't even realize how long I've been drawing until I tell people, until I stop and think about that. So they say it takes 10,000 hours to master something. I don't know if I got 10,000 yet, but I've been doing this for well over 30 years. And so I'm close. I gotta be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you said you had advice from your father, but what is the best advice that you received with getting started with doing art?
The best advice, I think it came from like just both parents. From my mother always told me is to, I remember when we stopped, the music had like kind of like was at a standstill. And like I was so burnt out from college from like 2009 to like 2013, 2014, I didn't draw anything. I was doing like flyers for money, and I was designing like our group stuff, but I wasn't drawing anything. I didn't start drawing again until like 2013 because I was so burnt out from school. And then for the fact that the recession happened, I didn't have an art job right out of school. So I was just like soured off of it. And my mother gave me a book to read called The Alchemist. And I read it. And it was just saying,
let's get into it.
And it was just the gems in there. And she was always just saying, the main thing she would always tell me is just to not be afraid to walk in your purpose. You got to understand who you are and why you're here and what you're supposed to do. And that the universe will conspire in a line for you once you fulfill your purpose. And if you are not fulfilling your purpose, your life will be catastrophic. And everything in that book reinforced that. And it was just like, and then so when I finally like started, I was drawing, but the drawing wouldn't make a noise. When I started painting, and painting was the thing. And I'm like, people don't realize, like, I started painting in 2015. I started painting in 2015, like, you know, back, like even back in the day, and like we was in high school, whatever. God bless my brothers, Mo, and Edmund, whatever. They was the painters.
Yeah,
I didn't paint. They were known for the painters. I didn't do everything else. I didn't paint. I didn't design clothes. I didn't do any of that. That was always them. To me, it was like I had OCD. It was messy. I didn't want to get my hands dirty like that. Give me a pencil. I'm cold with that pencil. I don't know if I'm good at that because I don't want it on my hands, you know. And so, but when I started painting, and like my original paintings were like on IG. I learned how to paint in front of Instagram. That's what people don't realize. When people are like, how long you been painting? Like, since 2015. Since March 2015, it's when I started painting. You know, like I took color theory classes because they made me, but I would never sit down and be like, I'm gonna paint my own piece. And so when I started painting, every time I paint a piece, something crazy happened. Well, it started before that. I got fired from my job in January, right? And then like, you know, and being from Chicago, I'm still a Bulls fan. I ended up like a week later being like in the locker room at the Wizards and the Verizon Center at the time, talking to Derrick Rose and giving him a piece and changing numbers with him, whatever. And I'm just like, I don't know how this happened. I literally just got fired like a week ago. And then a week after that, this is wild. So damn, I'm thinking about stuff now that I ain't thought about in a long time. And so like after that, literally on my birthday, it was January 9th, 2015. I had my wife, we had just moved in together. It was my girlfriend at the time, had to do a surprise party for me. One of her homegirls was like, hey, I got an extra ticket to go to the White House, and because the Spurs are going there for their championship run, and you know, Obama's gonna present them with the jersey, they go with the jersey and everything. And it was like, you should probably like get a piece. And I'm like, when is it? And she's like, tomorrow. I'm like, all right. So I do a drawing of like the Spurs, like Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, and Tim Duncan. I go there. Again, I've been unemployment I ain't even filled it out yet. And here I am in the White House, like past like Secret Service showcasing my work. OBZ over there. I'm talking to the owner. I'm talking to Greg Popovich, who's like heavy. What? The guy's got to see this. He's going around and escorting me to Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, and then I meet the owner or the president, R.C. Buford, and he was just like, oh, this is amazing. Like, we got to do whatever. And I'm just like, I don't even know what's happening right now. Like, I'm trying to figure out where the next check coming from, and I'm here. Like, but it was just like, I left it alone. And what's so crazy about art, I feel like it saved my life. Because when I was so burnt out about it. What, Danielle?
No, but would you have been able to go to those places if you were working or right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
That's how I saw the line. Like,
everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I went, and I'm just thinking like, man, like job or not, it was just like every time I'm starting to do this, I'm like, I'm read that book, and I was just like, I gotta get back to it. But it always like did it, went there, and then from there afterwards, whatever, I posted it on Instagram. Right, this is wild. I think I've never told the story out. I've told it a few times, but to people the public don't know. Right. A little boy from San Antonio reached out to me, named Matthew, asking me if he could buy the piece. And I'm like, Slim, I get you, like, you know, like you kid, you know, but he was talking about, you know, he's like, it's cancer and everything. But R.C. Buford, the president, gave me his phone number. So I was like, yo, we might be able to do something a little better for him. And I reached out to him and I was like, look, I can get prints for the players. But I think it would really be dope. There's a little boy who's a diehard Spurs fan, and he lives in San Antonio. And I was like, if I get prints for the players, but I send y'all the original and give you his address, yo, can the team autograph it for him and send it to him? And he was like, you know, his assistant handled like, yeah, we can make that happen. Just get us the address and get us the pieces. And so I told the little boy, hey, you know what? Your folks ain't got to pay for this, man. Like, I got you. Just tell me where I can need to send it to. And he was just like, thank you so much. And then I'm like, Instagram is really just barely getting off the ground. So I'm like, it was before spams and DMs. I'm like, nah, Slim, I got you. And so he got the piece, but what he didn't know when he got it is that, you know.
Oh my God,
I know, that is so amazing.
Tony Parker, and they all signed by their actual image that I drew of them. So Kawhi, Tony, Manu, and Tim Duncan all like signed a piece for him, and he took a picture of it and he had held it up. And then at that point, whatever, and I was just like, man, like I never thought that like anything that I would create would change somebody's life.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it got deeper than rap to me. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, it's bigger than, and I'm like, all right, now I'm seeing what my mom is talking about, like walking in your purpose, whatever. It's like, you're here to, to do more than you realize. And also, the biggest blessing you can be is one to somebody else. And not realize, like, I was just doing it for the sake of like, hey, this gonna help give me some exposure. And I realized a little, look, hey man, go for it. And so I think I'm still in like the little boy still follows me and everything. So I might reach out. He's like grown now. Like he was a shorty now. I think he's in college now. And so,
beautiful.
But it was like, at that moment, and it was just like, all right, cool. And then it's like, my wife is from Dallas originally, whatever. We were coming to surprise her family, and then her sister was living here and scored some tickets to the Erykah Badu show. And I'm just like, they were like, yo, you should be dope if you did a piece for Erykah Badu. And I'm like, well, I don't have time. What you mean? Like, I just started painting. What you like? I'm like, this is gonna be my third painting. No, my second painting ever. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I stay up all night, do it. To the point of like, this is how it always happens. Super show to pull up. I got a blow dryer on this joint, trying to get it dry. I'm about to take it on a plane. First, they was like, we got to check it. I'm like, you can't check it, it's gonna break. We do that. We get to the show. Everybody's going crazy, stopping, taking pictures of it, and then like. Her boyfriend, her sister's boyfriend at the time was close to Erykah. He was like, we can get it back there after the show, but I think it would be dope if you just give it to her during the show. And I'm like, what you mean? And he was like,
how I'm gonna do this?
He was like, just hold it up in the crowd. And I was holding it up in the crowd. And then because it was like a tealish green color, when people was throwing their cell phones on it, trying to get her attention, it started glowing in the dark. And so I'm just like, at this point, whatever, it's just different levels of powers in play at this point. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, and she saw it and she was just like, yo, that's really freaking me out. It's beautiful. And I just like, I let it go. And people crowd surfed it to her, to the stage. And she got it. And then she picked it up. And everybody always paints Badu with the head wrap and everything. I was like, there's a powerful picture of her with all of that gone. She is the most free she looked. She's bald head, had the painting on her neck that said shrimp. And then she saw it. I think I have the video posted on my IG, and she was like, this was from a very, very, very special time in my life. This is beautiful. Thank you. And at that point, I was like, damn, I gotta move to Dallas. I can't stay here anymore. Like, I don't have no job no way. Like, I might as well leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, I gotta go. And so from there, I moved to Dallas, and it just took off. Like,
oh my goodness!
And it took off. The art took off. I mean, I ended up working when I needed a job to get down here, but it's like I was just cranking, and every time I paint, something amazing happened. Like something bigger than I ever imagined. What happened with the pieces? I mean, I think one day she reposted it, and she was like, this picture, and this is my dumb ass, I didn't put my name on the back of the picture, right? I didn't put any contact. I'm just now starting painting. I didn't know. So it's like, I didn't put no contact, no phone, no nothing. So she posted on Instagram probably like a year and a half later, like October 2016, and then my phone was going crazy. Erykah Badu post your painting, Erykah Badu post your painting. Like, you got to go tell her it's you. And I was like, no, she didn't. And then I go to the page, and I was like, and she was like, who did it? Like, everybody's like tagging me, JE the Vandl, and she liked me. She liked it. I DM'd her, and I was like, yeah, it was me. And we chopped for a minute, and she was just like, it's very beautiful. It still hangs in my day. And I'm just like, the most important figure in music from this place.
Our all time, like
it has stamped me. Like she the queen here. You know she understand me. So it already put me it already catapulted me out here, like in a different stratosphere. Some people didn't like it, but a lot of people had to respect it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From there, it would just take off. Like the DOC, one of her, like, they got a kid together. He was one of the writers for Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, and all that, whatever. It was like he had the accident, so he must have stolen or whatever. But he's the second highest person in music here. He's the father of rap.
Right.
Yeah. And straight out of Compton had just come out. And my partner was like, I love DOC. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I didn't even know he's from Dallas. So I did a painting anyway. Granted, I broke my fingers from hooping. So I'm doing this, I'm like, I don't know how with the cast on, but I did it. And my partner was like, yo, DOC is gonna be at the radio station, yo. You wouldn't have to have a painting of him. I'm like, so I just did one like 2 days ago. You playing, right? And he was like, this is why I knew I liked you. Like me and him, we're not even cool. He's like, his actual name was Slim. And he was like, yo, I knew I liked you. He's like, be here at this time. We're gonna get it to him. Pull up to the place, give it to him. He tripping out because no one's painting him. And in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute. He from Dallas, and this artist from Dallas, and nobody ever thought to do a picture of the person.
Right.
Say less. I'll come out here and eat. And like, am I gonna ask you a question? How much time did I step on toes?
Or there's really not that many talented people as we think they are.
Right. But it's like, I had no idea. And I was like, and in my mind, like, I was in a place where I'm not worried about what nobody doing. I'm like, I gotta get my name out here. Nobody knows who I am. And if I'm gonna eat off of this, I gotta assert myself. And he saw that, he loved it, and he was just like, man. And he's like, yeah, this is amazing. Took it. He's like, his mother took it. When I linked up with him again one day, he was like, his mother took it for him. It's hanging up in his mother's house and everything. But it was everything would just start going. It just snowballed from there. Every time I would paint something amazing would happen. And so, and then my father would always just tell me whatever, it would just be like very similar advice, It's just like, like you gotta be who you are. Like you have a gift. And my mother probably more than anything. And I think that was the thing that kind of set me apart, because art's not one of those things that everybody supports or parents, because they don't feel that you got to be dead for your work to be worth something, whatever. So no one wants their kid to be a starving artist. And that was the thing. That was the advice. My father was like, you don't have to be a starving artist to be an artist. That was the advice he gave me. So I never quit any of my jobs to do it, because I was making artist magic happen when I wasn't at work. I just lost a little sleep. So I was like, you don't got to be broke to make it. You don't got to struggle to succeed. Is pretty much his advice that he gave me. And my mother was just like, you got to just do what you would like. She was like, if you don't utilize your God-given ability, he will take it from you. And I felt like, because I left it alone after school because I was so soured about it, this is my second chance. And if I don't do something with it now, I'm gonna lose it forever. And one of the biggest things I want to be is a what if to my kids, and talking about how good I used to be in something and there's no proof of it. So that's what kind of inspires me to, from their advice still, to just keep going. Cause my father, he, before he passed, like he was an actor, and my father won an Emmy. He had a day job. He worked for the state of Illinois. He got an Emmy.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
No. And what was this for, if you don't mind me?
It was a commercial about texting and driving. And this is another reason why I'm so immersed in like timing, because he did it and then like nothing came from it. He thought it was just a gig. It won an Emmy 3 years later.
Wow.
Because it was still running, because people were still dying from texting and driving. And it was literally like, like the directors won an Emmy. And I remember him sending me the picture of him kissing the Emmy. And it was like, he like, all right, I'm now about to go back to work, and he had like a wink face in the message or whatever, letting you know that like he achieved the highest level of his passion, without quitting his job. Like you just gotta be strategic in how you move, whatever. But if it's like, and the thing right, like you don't gotta quit your job and grind. That works for some people, but if you're really blessed and meant to do something, it's gonna happen regardless, just as long as you do it. And that's the advice my parents got me, and it's kind of what I live by now. And
it resonates to you, right, Ree? Okay.
Yeah, all the way. That's why it took me. I had to take a breath. Like, all the way.
Oh my God. Out of 3 seasons, we on our 3rd season. You are the first guest that's made me cry. Like, I'm just like, oh
that
my
was
God.
That was super deep. Like this episode
beautiful.
is super. This episode,
Beyond.
You're getting the exclusive, man. Look.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've never said any of this before. Not to nobody with no platform. So like y'all are getting it.
Yes. Oh, God bless you.
Love it.
We always like to ask our guests, who are you listening to, unsung or underground, who we need to know about? Put them on real quick. Or who's on your playlist in general?
On my playlist right now, I'm trying to think about who I'm listening to right now. There is I listen to all the popular dudes, whatever. I ain't get caught up in the whole Donda CLB thing. I listen to a lot of Cole. I listen to a lot of Cole because of what he did. Like the area that I teach in Dallas, Oak Cliff. When he did that freestyle, album of the year freestyle, he was like, shout out Oak Cliff. I might fly to Dallas, whatever, because he spent a lot of time out here. And they started the whole kid. He had a show out here the same day we had our back to school festival. Started a whole citywide campaign. And I was for the organization that I work with called For Oak Cliff. I do a lot of the artwork. And I was telling the owner, I was like, the CEO, I was like, look, Cole gonna pull up to this. And they were like, wrong. No, I'm like, bro, he gonna pull up to this. Like at this point now, like I don't know what's wrong with me in how I move, but like when I know things, I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I like you about to get another exclusive, but I call this my lighthouse lens. What I mean when I say that is like I see the wave before it forms. Like I know, like I know what's about to be popular next. I normally can see if it's something creative, I can see what's going to happen before it starts happening. I don't know how. That also feeds back into my inspiration, but I'm like, I know what's coming next. I always do, and I'm never wrong. I'm never wrong. It almost scared me to the point where it's like, I know why I get tired of being like he said it again. I'm like, look, I told you this was gonna be like. She'd be like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it was like that's, and so I told him he was gonna come, and for the fact that he pulled up, and not only did he pull up, he didn't tell nobody he pulled up because he didn't want to advertise he was gonna be there because he wanted to deal with just that area. The area is like historically it's a franchise, community, whatever. So he didn't want everybody to show up for photo ops. He pulled up, and then but he didn't. He pulled up with a whole U-Haul with thousands and thousands of dollars worth of school supplies and didn't tell nobody. And so ever since then, I'm like, he top 5 to me, whatever, because of what he did outside of music. And so I listen to his album a lot. But listen to Nas, look, ever since Nas linked with Hit Boy, whatever, and that production got better, man, he's been on the warpath. So I've been listening to a lot.
He has.
I'm curious to see what Forlorn 2 sound like. I'm not into like the popularity music, whatever. I need substance. Like I'm at a place in my life where it's like, now your music don't gotta have substance, but if it don't have substance and the beat is just hard, I'm just gonna bench press to it. I'm not finna jam it in no intellectual setting. But I'm also in a place now where I don't hate on nothing. Everything got a place. It's just that like, if I'm at a day party and this song come on, this is where this song will live. Or the song will live in the gym if I'm shooting around, or if I'm lifting, or if I'm in a car. But the things with substance is where it lives me when I'm in the car, when I'm creating. That's what I need. Yeah. And but this, I'm shouting my boy AT. He might cry when he see this. He got a group that he managed from Dallas, right? And I think these kids are special. It's a group called Free Black. Okay. From Free Black, it's 3 dudes from Dallas, whatever. Right? I think they're going to be special. They're like underground here, but it's like ever since I've heard the first song they had called No ID, whatever. But it was like they got an album called I forgot what it's called. I don't know what it's called. But it's the music. I like the music, and it's something different, especially from like Dallas. And so I can DM y'all like their page, and y'all can check out their music, whatever. So that's those are some underground guys that I'm listening to. And I say underground in the sense that like people may not know them outside of Dallas, whatever. But it's a lot. I mean, it's a couple of them like that here. But those are the guys I'm jamming the most because they don't sound like anything Texas, even though they're from Oak Cliff. That's what I'm jamming nowadays.
Okay. But, we took notes.
Oh, I got I got it.
Yes. Yes. So we got to ask them the last question. Or no. Well, first tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me at JE the Vandl, VANDL no EL, VANDL. And so I'm there. Most of my work's there. My site is in the process of getting updated. So if you go there, like nothing's new. I don't have an under construction sign because I don't believe in the coming soon thing. You just gonna have to check back when it's like right. So check my Instagram is probably where I'm the most active. But the beautiful thing is, like, I don't like remember names and passwords. So my handle is the same on everything. If you type in JE the Vandl, one word, that is me on Twitter. That is me on Facebook. That is me. Any type of social media platform that I'm involved with, you got to find me there. Except for what's the name? I told you I don't do the TikTok stuff, but Instagram is probably the thing I'm on the most because it's the most visual.
All right.
Yeah. It's the most visual, and for artists, it covers the most ground exposure wise. So you're more than likely to see anything new from me. It'll be on Instagram first.
Okay.
Bet. And last question: who you rocking with?
Who am I rocking with?
Yes.
What does that question mean, and how do I answer that question? Well, how I want to answer that, I want to rock with y'all because the reason I'm rocking with y'all is because y'all were the first to ask me.
There we go.
That's it.
That's who I'm rocking with. You know, I'm rocking with it. First of all, I didn't know this was an acronym. Can you tell me what it means again?
Yes. Okay. So
overly obsessed, unsung, and underground. The OOUU Pod.
Okay, so let me plug y'all real quick. Whatever. What's going on? It's your man JE the Vandl, right? Broadcasting live from Triple D, DTX, Dallas, Texas, and you are rocking with the OOUU Pod. You better tune in and get familiar. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You posted. We love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Love y'all, miss y'all, and thank you.
Yes.
I'm excited to see when they drop, and I'll repost it. You know,
yes.
We're gonna see if anybody else cry.
For sure.